Three things that you need to know before I show you the notes. Remember that you need to know that the fingers of the left hand, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Backwards, 4, 3, 2, 1. You need to know that because when I'm teaching you the notes, I'm going to be telling you which finger you need to use, and you need to know which finger I'm talking about. Other thing that you need to know is you need to know what to call each string. The thinnest string, the one that sounds the highest, is 1. Here's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go from the other direction. It's 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so you need to know that. The other thing that you need to know the frets. These metal strips right here that goes right across the fingerboard. First fret, second fret, and third fret. That's as far as you need to know right now, because the notes that you're going to be playing only go up to the third fret. So third fret here, second fret here, first fret here. Okay. When you're playing the notes with your right hand, you can use your right hand thumb. Your fingers can just sit on the first string right here. That'll keep your hand nice and steady. And then if you're playing a note, say you're playing the third string, your thumb just plucks the string and then ends up just flopping against the side of your index finger. So that's a perfectly good note right there. Don't do this. Don't put your fingers on the soundboard like this. Put your fingers right here on the first string, and then your thumb will play the third string. Now the notes that I wrote down for you, the first note is G. Third string open. Open means no left hand finger. So my left hand's not going to do anything. I play the third string open. That's a G. Okay. The next note is still third string, so I have my thumb on the third string. Second finger behind the second fret on the third string. So I've got it on the third string, I've got it right up close to the second fret, press down here and play. That's an A. That's the second note that I have written down on the sheet that I gave you. This is an A. If I take my finger off, it's a G. Put my finger back down behind the second fret, it's an A. Okay? Now you have 3 notes on the second string. So I'm going to put my thumb on the second string. First note that you'll play on the second string is B, no left hand. It's an open string. So that's B. To play C, take your first finger of your left hand, put it on the second string behind the first fret. There's C. To play D, it's still on the second string, so I have my thumb on the second string, my third finger on the second string behind the third fret. That's a D. Okay, now you got 3 more notes. They're all on the first string, so I'm going to put my thumb on the first string. First note that I play on the first string is an E, no left hand finger, it's open. That's an E. And notice that I don't have my fingers on the first string anymore because I have to play it. So I just have my fingers floating out here, and my thumb can play the string just fine. For F sharp, on the sheet that I gave you, it looks like an F, and then it looks like a little tic-tac-toe board after it. That's a sharp sign, F sharp. Still first string, my thumb is on the first string. Second finger on the first string behind the second fret. That's an F sharp, and then the last note on that page that I gave you, G. Sometimes I'll call it high G so that you can distinguish it from low G. It's on the first string, so I have my thumb on the first string. Third finger on the first string behind the third fret. Now, if I do them in the order that I have on the sheet that I gave you, it would be G, C, D, E, F sharp, G. If I do it backwards, G, F sharp, E, D, C, B, A, G. You should be practicing those notes. You want to get so that you know those really well, because as soon as you know those notes, I can start teaching you songs. When you're first learning the notes, you're probably going to have to look at your left hand. If you don't look at your left hand, you'll probably mess it all up, and so that's good. It's okay to go ahead and look at your left hand when you're learning the notes. But as soon as you can, you should see if you can play without looking at your left hand, because eventually you're going to be looking at a sheet of paper that has the music on it, and you'll be much better off if you can keep your eyes on the music and let your hand find the notes by itself. So if you want to practice the notes without looking at your left hand, before you start, go ahead and look and make sure that you've got your left hand in the right place. And then when you start to play the notes, look away from your left hand and say G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And if you can do that, you're doing really, really well. When you're first learning your notes, take your time. Don't try to go fast. If you try to go fast, you'll mess up and you'll hit all kinds of wrong notes. You'll get all frustrated, then you'll throw the guitar on the ground and start crying. You don't want to do that. So start nice and easy. For the first time when you're playing an A, you might have to go, okay, my thumb goes here. My second finger goes on the third string behind the second fret. If it takes you that long to find the notes when you're first learning them, that's fine. It's more important that you do it right than trying to do it fast and messing it up. Okay, this is what you should be practicing then after the first lesson that we just had. You will be practicing, you know your left hand fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you know that. You know the strings of the guitar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you know your frets, 1, 2, 3. And then you'll practice G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And while you practice them, make sure that you say the names of the notes. You should learn the notes with your hand, but you also want to learn them with your brain. You want to know what each note is as you play. You should be practicing at least 5 days a week. 6 would be better, but 5 minimum. If you practice correctly, it shouldn't take you more than about 10 minutes to get through a practice session. You do a good practice session where you covered everything that I just told you about, then that's a good practice session.